Excellent. It is 6:30. I'd like to call this meeting of council to order and acknowledge that the city of Winkler is situated on Treaty 1 land, home of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories and dedicate ourselves to a future based on respect for all peoples, moving forward to a harmonious and prosperous future together. And be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of August 26th, 2025 be adopted. Mover?
Marvin.
Second.
Peter.
You will note that Deputy Mayor Fraze is not able to join us this evening, so we will be short one, but I would think we can figure the rest out on our own. Anything else on the agenda? Not seeing any. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 12th, 2025 be adopted. Mover?
Michael.
Ryan. Nope.
Michael got it. Ryan got the second. Minutes are in front of you. Any questions or comments on what you see? All in favor? Carried. No correspondence to review today, but we do have a few bills to pay. Be it resolved that accounts payable in the amount of $1,216,865.91 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Don.
Second.
Marvin.
Marvin got it. The register is attached. You've had a chance to take a look at it. Anything that you would like clarification on or have questions about there? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that due to increased expenses related to certain city events, that City Council of Winkler hereby authorizes an increase in the corporate credit card limit from $120,000 to $150,000 effective immediately. Mover?
Don.
Second.
Peter.
There's a note there that explains particularly when it makes sense to have that, whether it's through big events like the Harvest Festival or sometimes for travel. We find that our limits are not always enough. Jody, is there any additional context past that that we would need to be aware of?
I don't think so, just that we can, with this resolution, we can move it up temporarily when we need to, and then bring it back down when that season is done.
Excellent. I like that approach as well.
Tired of it getting declined? A little embarrassing.
It's kind of embarrassing.
Not seeing any further comments. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the financial report and statements for July 2025 be received for information. Mover?
Don.
Second.
Ryan.
Again, the report is attached, and the Cole's Notes version by David, where he gives us all the detail of the things that are of note that might be different than anticipated, are highlighted, so it's easy for us to follow along. Anything there that gives you pause?
Always appreciate Cole's notes.
Absolutely. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the City of Winkler purchase 760 Pembina Avenue with the legal description of Lot 14, Block 1, Plan 516, with a possession date of September 30th, 2025, for the price of $420,000 using funds from the General Reserve. Mover?
Ryan.
Second.
Marvin.
I think Marvin beat you there, Pete.
He's fast.
Jody, maybe a bit of an explanation in terms of why we're buying this piece?
This particular lot on Pembina Avenue has an exceptionally deep yard, and staff saw it as a good opportunity to use it for some stormwater detention because of the amount of troubles we have with high water events with the drainage along Pembina, and that should, at least mitigate some of the issues that we have further east on Pembina Avenue when we have significant rain events or water events, let's say. And so brought the opportunity to council to, as a way really when we look at the numbers in terms of other ways of doing stormwater detention, whether that would be underground tanks and things like this, this by far is a less expensive way for us to do some stormwater detention, and just seemed like a really good opportunity.
Excellent. Final thoughts from council?
Do we want to put it in the resolution that that is the intent for stormwater? Like, I was just thinking, 3 years from now, somebody reads this and goes, what are you guys buying houses for? But obviously there's a reason we're buying this.
It's a good point.
Not just to hold
Yeah.
real estate. It's a specific.
If you want, we could add to the resolution to say, whereas the city of Winkler is in need of stormwater detention, and whereas 760 Pembina Avenue has a deep lot that would accommodate stormwater detention, therefore be it resolved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
all
like
we're
that.
not tied, like all of a sudden, whatever.
I don't think it would tie it to us. It would explain in 10 years
why
did they do that.
this. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good point. I like it.
Yeah.
Mover and seconder are both good
Yep.
with adding
Yep.
some whereases.
Yep, absolutely. Makes
Other
sense.
comments?
I guess,
Sorry, Ryan.
yeah, sorry, I just one comment. I do really appreciate staff coming to us with this opportunity and kind of paying attention to the things that are out there, knowing that we do have this issue with stormwater retention. And so I appreciate their foresight and kind of looking at this opportunity.
Yeah.
So.
Noted. Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay. On that note, all in favor? And that is carried. Takes us to our streetlights. Be it resolved that the City of Winkler authorize Manitoba Hydro to make the following changes to the streetlight system at Siemens Subdivision Lot 4 extension on Titan Drive in Winkler. Install two 60-watt streetlights as per the drawing. Two lights are billed at $14.71 per month per light. This will increase our annual streetlight cost by $353.04. Mover.
Marvin.
Second.
Michael.
I should quickly note that that is in no way, shape, or form related to me, although as much as I would like it to be, that's a nice area of the community. Questions?
Gotta have light.
We do indeed. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the MSTW minutes and reports for July 2025 be received for information. Mover?
Don.
Second.
Michael.
Report is there. Anything that we need to be aware of?
Well, it's definitely been busy, which is good, and lots of action. And I've said it before, the beauty is the single family is really up, which is great, because that's been lagging. So
Very nice to
that's
see.
good to see. And Plum Coulee is booming. What are they at? 24 new housing starts or something like that?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, they're going down.
Very nice. All in favor? Carried. On another MSTW note, that was a very nice open house with the development plan, and people showed up and had
Yeah, which
questions.
was
That
good.
was really nice to see.
Yep.
Takes us to subdivision. Be it resolved that council approve subdivision number 4463-25-8476. Subject to a development agreement, terms and conditions shall be in accordance with the city's report to council, including proposed parcel A must be consolidated with CT 25-53418, roll 183-112, Winkler meets, by May 1st, 2026. Proposed parcel A must be rezoned from CG Commercial General Zone to M Industrial Zone prior to lot consolidation. A declaration of right-of-way must be obtained for all cross-access agreements. A drainage easement agreement must be entered into with the City of Winkler. Mover.
Peter.
Second.
Michael.
Jody, maybe just a little bit of additional context there.
In this case, we've got Planning and Permitting Manager Stephanie Jantz here, and I'll defer to her on that one.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So this particular subdivision came to us as a partner between two landowners looking to basically create a new parcel that would essentially change hands and be consolidated with the Winkler Beach site. So they haven't indicated imminent expansion plans, but they're planning for their future. We have seen a lot grading and drainage plan that shows future surface parking lot, which would be compliant with the zoning there. The lot consolidation and the rezoning is a recommendation by the province. We would support that. In terms of future expansion, we have an ISA with Winkler Beach today, so that addresses their limits on water and wastewater.
Okay. Excellent. Any questions or thoughts, Council?
I guess my thought is it has to be consolidated and has to be rezoned. So is there adequate time? It seems like a long ways down the line, but sometimes these things take time. So there would be adequate time on this?
I believe so, although I haven't heard from the applicant. If they did take issue with the proposed May 1st deadline, we could be as generous as we choose. Ultimately, a deadline is useful to help ensure it occurs in a timely manner. If you feel like more time is needed. Essentially, once the titles exist, lot consolidation can occur just by registering a plat of survey. That doesn't require municipal approval. It's more or less an administrative process by a land surveyor at Terranet. So that there's very little risk in that going poorly, I guess you could say. And then the rezoning, as you know, that can take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks from the time of application. So I think the assumptions are it's a comfortable timeline, but if you'd like to provide more time, I don't have any objections to that.
No, that's good. It's just a lot of these things when you get to some of the rezoning and so on, it has taken a long time for people to do this. So I just wanted to make sure that it would be able to meet the timeline. That's fine.
The subdivision itself, like there are conditions that are sometimes difficult to satisfy in a timely manner. So that at this point, once council issues their approval, they would have a checklist with the province to satisfy conditions. That can take time. Easements can take time. So I wouldn't be opposed to a longer deadline if you think that's supported.
Well, no, I defer to your expertise on that. I just don't want them to be tied by a resolution that was looked at as being arbitrary or something.
I mean, we could make it relative to the subdivision approval dates if we wanted to give them within 6 months following subdivision registration to apply to rezone, or 3 months to apply to rezone, and then consolidation occurs within 3 to 6 months after that. Or that would maybe be more relative to acknowledging the uncertainty. We could certainly revise the resolution. Yeah.
I think that makes an awful lot of sense to use the 3 months and 6 months, use those as triggers that then we have times that start so that the items that are outside of our control or their control can be mitigated and we don't run into a calendar issue. That's an excellent point, Marvin. Thank you.
Do we want to rezone it? Like right now, I'm looking at commercial to rezone it to industrial.
We looked at that closely. At first, I had hesitations about the consolidation and rezoning. The province indicated like they strongly felt the consolidation is needed because there isn't adequate access to this sort of back lot without.
But there's also 4 houses there, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are bought in a commercial zone, and now it's going to industrial. Like, that's a big overhaul.
So the zoning amendment process, council could review buffering, separation requirements, mitigation for noise, nuisance activities. That would be more likely looked at as a condition of rezoning approval.
And I think in this instance, we have a pretty good idea of what the industrial is going to be there. So I think from that aspect of it.
We're assuming, but I feel for these homeowners, like they like that could change, their backyards could change overnight drastically.
As indicated in the report, if the meat processing facility expands into the parcel A, the province and the city would consider that a new conditional use.
And I'm all for I like the idea if they can expand, but I'm just a little nervous for these homeowners there.
Would you have a thought or a suggestion?
No, I'm just, like, to me, commercial is a little less, it sounds a little less noisy and loud versus,
Stephanie indicated that there's a conditional use attached to it, though.
yeah, okay. I just don't want them to be disappointed later, thinking they're gonna, I don't know, put up some noisy machine that's gonna be grinding sausages all day long, that's loud. I don't know. I'm just.
And I think that piece could be captured in the conditional
Okay.
use, because at that point in time, we'll know what they're looking to do there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm all for, if we can expand them, great, like, it's all good, but I'm feeling for these homeowners sitting there that all of a sudden. But,
And as far as lot consolidation goes, you can't consolidate a lot with two different zones, right? Like, they'd have to either be all commercial or all industrial.
Correct.
Yeah.
okay. So then, to consolidate, then the zoning will change. It has to change. That we can't.
Well, and that's, as Stephanie has already mentioned,
Yeah.
that was heavily recommended by the province. You've got to do that, or you can't move this forward.
But then once it changes, then we don't have anything left to.
There's still the conditional use of what they're going to do on that spot. Correct, Stephanie?
If they expand into the parcel A,
Correct.
the newly acquired lands.
Okay, so they, hypothetically, they set up something totally different. Would it still be conditional use?
It depends how it adds up on our table, section 3.2 of our zoning bylaw. There's a permitted conditional use table. So certain industrial
Yeah,
uses
so,
are permitted.
so you could, like, a small little foundry, I won't, but a small little foundry could set up there.
Under the M industrial zone, yeah.
Yes.
There's better
When
chances.
we can't do anything about that.
On a consolidated lot, again,
I know.
we'd be awfully surprised if a meat packer put up a foundry next to it.
Yeah.
But it is a thought we do need
But
to
with the
consider.
tariffs that are happening, all of a sudden there's not a meat packing plant anymore. I don't know. I like I say, I'm just feeling for these homeowners that are there, that once it's zoned, we could really.
There's already a whole bunch of homeowners on the backside that are right behind the meat plant.
Oh, there is some, yeah,
Yeah.
but there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are there now.
I think it behooves us to look around as many corners as we can.
Yep, as long as
We may
we're,
not be able to see around all of them, but we're aware
Yep.
of
As
two
long
you're
as-
pointing out. At this point in time, further thoughts? Are we ready for the question, or do we want to consider it further? I'll take that as that we're ready.
So that's with the new whereas clauses put in?
the 3 months or whatever the.
Yeah, the 3 months and the 6
Yeah.
months.
Yep.
Point of clarification.
Please.
Steph, do you have the right wording for the triggers so that we get that right in the revised resolution?
Yeah, I think if I'm hearing everyone correctly, the consolidation was to be required within, I guess we need to insert a number, within 3 to 6 months of plan registration, like the subdivision registration, and that consolidation occur within, again, 3 to 6
So
months.
3 months after the first part and then 6 months on the second part.
Really, it's at your discretion at that point, but both options would work. 3 or 6 months would be reasonable.
Are we comfortable, council, with 3 and 6?
I think
Or
so.
do we want to leave a window of 3 to 6? I think that's maybe a fairly big one.
Well, why don't we just leave 6 and then.
6 and 6.
Like ideally, you'd want the rezoning to occur prior to consolidation. So that wording could just simply remain prior to. So we would only need one trigger on when we expect them to apply to rezone following plan registration.
Oh, okay.
That could be 3 months.
Let's do that.
Okay,
Thank you.
good, thank you very much.
Everybody satisfied? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2352-25 be given first reading. Mover.
Ryan.
Michael got it. Ryan got the second. This is to rezone 340 Roblin Boulevard. This is first reading. This simply puts it on the agenda and allows the advertising and all the other things that need to happen. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings. Mover?
Ryan.
Second.
Marvin.
All in favor? Thank you. Jody, if you would lead us through the process for public hearings.
Yep, we have a couple of public hearings tonight, and for each one of them, we'll do an introduction of the public hearing and the application, and then the mayor will open up for comment, either for or against, and you should step up to the microphone and state your name so that everyone is aware of who's speaking. And as the mayor's mentioned before, we do live stream these meetings on YouTube, and we want, if there's any discussion at all, for it to be at the mic so that everyone can hear it.
Excellent. Thank you, Jody. This is then public hearing for conditional use number CU 2025-005-555 George Avenue.
Okay, the applicant here is 102-18699 Manitoba Limited, and you can see a list of family members, which are and others that are the owners there. Civic address is 555 George Avenue. Existing zoning is M Industrial, and the request here is in order to allow a brewery production facility, which is defined as wet industry. And we have received no objections to this application. You do have a report to council there as well with some additional information. The recommendation from staff is to approve with conditions as listed. The applicant has been given a copy of this report as well.
Thank you, Jody. Is there anyone here wishing to speak to this? I'll give opportunities for proponents to speak first if they would like. Not seeing, and by all means, if you've got some comments, please do come to the microphone.
My name is John Rempel.
Hi, John.
Do really appreciate the opportunity to speak with council, as well as others that are here and those that will be watching on live stream or on YouTube. And so, again, I have a friend of mine, one of the co-workers that I work with. I happen to be an assistant pastor at a local church, Pembina Valley Baptist Church. So we are here, Jake Friesen and myself, just to represent our community within this community. And so to express some concerns in relation to the application and perhaps some clarification within the application. I didn't see anything mentioned about sale, whether it's simply a production facility or whether it's also a point of sale. And so with that, just an opportunity, and I really do appreciate the opportunity. This particular subject was brought to our attention by one of our folks in our congregation, and so a little bit familiar with that area, and also just an opportunity to say we love our community, and so to express concerns as a congregation that deals with perhaps some of the fallout of a particular industry that's highlighted within this application. And within that fallout, we have concerns as we see a particular industry that, has damaged relationships, families, and various parts of our community. And so this is our chance to say, we are concerned about that. And just to let council know and at least put that within your considerations. Now, I will say that from a biblical perspective, myself being a pastor, we do approach these subjects from the Bible perspective. And so I won't go into great detail, knowing some of you gentlemen, you have some experience with perhaps biblical portions But I will mention just a couple of them. In Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 1, the Bible speaks about wine being a mocker and strong drink being raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Proverbs goes on to say in chapter 23, at the end of that chapter, and it gives a description of those that are impacted by alcohol. And again, I won't quote it for you. I give you the reference so that you can look it up at your leisure. But it does refer to an individual who is staggering around unsure of where they are or even how they got there. And I think many of us are familiar with alcohol and its impact on communities. And so when we were made aware of this particular petition, those are the things that come up within our church community as a point of conversation. How is this going to impact families? How is this going to impact a working community? And here we have within an industrial section, and 555 George Street is within that industrial section. And placing a brewery there, that's why I bring up the issue of, is this going to be a point of sale, where those that are working in that particular area, are they now going to have access to alcohol during the workday? And so these are things that come up in our community, and they were raised as questions. And I place them before council for your consideration and perhaps clarification on our end, exactly what's going to take place here. It may seem like a fairly mundane question, but is that going to continue on down there? So it's on a broad scale that I come before you to perhaps address an issue which is prevalent in our community, in our culture, and ask for you to consider it from a biblical perspective, from a community safety perspective, and a personal one. And being in the pastoral ministry, we have the opportunity to see often firsthand what alcohol can do. And so again, on those three pedestals, really I place it before council and say, consider this thing intelligently, as I know you do, and carefully, as again, I know you do. There's much research out there. This one is relating to Manitoba itself, and I will place this before you as well. Alcohol is no ordinary commodity. It is imperative that Manitoba continue to implement precautionary alcohol policies in order to reduce the harm and costs associated with alcohol use and to enhance the health and safety of the residents of Manitoba. That's just one of many recommendations that were placed in accordance with a study that was done from 2017 and on. And so I ask you just to consider these in this matter. And I really do appreciate the opportunity to address council, to bring these before you. And like I said, from a biblical perspective, from a community safety perspective, and from a personal one in the sense of the people that are around us in this community and what we've seen alcohol do, please consider them. And I leave that with you. Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your comments. Very quickly, Jody, as a point of sale, I don't believe that's the case, or is that, should we ask our...
I don't believe, but maybe the applicant can help.
Please, if our
answer.
applicants could, again, stating name and...
Hey, Council. My name is Johnny Trinke. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you guys here today. Thank you guys as well for being here today and just expressing care for the community and wanting to maintain a safe and respectful place for all those that live here. Yes. This is a high-security, fenced-in area, simply a production facility that will not be open to the public as well, too. So this will be purely for the production of our product, which is already sold throughout the community, and so purely creating this production facility will not lead to more availability of the product. It will simply, on our standpoint, allow us to create more jobs and be able to leverage more local suppliers in the production of our product as well. So,
excellent. Thank you for that clarification. Is there anyone else here who would speak to this, either for or against? Does council have any questions before we close our hearing?
Just appreciate the attached no, how do you say that? Econs. Yeah, I appreciate that because it was interesting because I was reading a little bit about this a while ago about the affluent, which I never realized it was can be pretty nasty. You know, so I do appreciate the approach of treating that, which is good. But I was also reading some microbreweries that convert it to fertilizer. Is that?
Please.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So since we started planning or thinking about this project, we obviously understood the constraints with wastewater and effluent loads in the area. And so that was the main hurdle that we were trying to overcome. And so this Econs company, they've developed a system called Brew Clean, BRU Clean. And so it's used by some of the biggest breweries across the country. And it essentially takes what, like you said, can be a pretty high load on lots of municipal systems, and it can get it almost magically within or very near to bylaw limits across municipalities. And then another thing for ourselves as well too is we've had many local farmers approach us as we've been kind of discussing this idea, and they have asked if they would be able to take not only some of our spent water and then have that not in our municipal sewer systems whatsoever, but as well as our spent grain, so the barley malt that is used here, and they're all offering to pay. And I think a big thing for us is being able to give back to those farmers coming from a farming community and being a brand that tries to appreciate our family farms. So you're totally right. I think we can repurpose a lot of these things that could be seen as a damage to our infrastructure, but we can repurpose them as a positive to local agriculture as well. So
that's good. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Additional thoughts or questions of council?
Never thought we'd have wet industry.
Yeah.
Be it resolved that public hearing for conditional use number CU 2025-005 be closed. Mover.
Ryan.
Second.
Peter?
Last thoughts? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council approve variance number CU 2025-005 subject to a development industrial services agreement. Terms and conditions will be in accordance with the city's report to council. Mover.
Marvin.
Second.
Michael?
Any additional thoughts or comments?
I also want to make comment on the city's report. It's nice to see when most of the concerns are checked off positive when it comes to council. It makes it much less difficult to support something like that.
Yeah. Very good point. Very good point. Any other thoughts? All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you, gentlemen, for your thoughtful presentation as well. Always important to make sure we take these into consideration. Thank you. We then continue, Jody, into public hearing for variance number VA 2025-021 at 940 Amber Street. Mover. We're not quite there yet.
Right.
Jody, why don't you take it first?
So this is applicant and owner K-Block Developments, civic address 940 Amber Street, zoning is R3, which is residential higher density zone. The request here is to increase the maximum allowable driveway width from 39.4 feet to a combined width of 101.5 feet, and this is in order to accommodate parking perpendicular to the street and a 26-foot wide shared access for the purpose of a multi-unit dwelling in the R3 residential higher density zone. We have no objections to this application, and you've seen a similar request to this in the past for this development, and I can't recall, there might be a few more left to go, but it was done in this manner for a reason, but it does mean that these separate requests come to council as the developer builds out that subdivision.
Excellent. Thank you, Jody. Is there anyone here wishing to speak to this? Anybody here wishing to speak in opposition or looking for more information? Does council have any thoughts?
I did manage to go through the open house when they had it, yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Nicely done. Yeah, nice buildings. Yeah, look good.
Okay. We will then say, be it resolved that the public hearing for variation application number VA 2025-021 at 940 Amber Street be closed. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Michael?
Final thoughts? All in favor? And we're closed. Be it resolved that council approve variance number VA 2025-021. Mover.
Ryan.
Second.
Michael?
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that public hearings be adjourned and regular council reconvene. Mover?
Marvin?
Second.
Peter?
That takes us to the end of our agenda. Do we have any questions from the media or public relevant to this meeting of council? Not seeing a mad dash for the microphones. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover.
Ryan.
Second.
Don.
Don. All in favor? And we're carried and we're done.